Alright, it's actually time for the Landsmeet now. Let's do this. Let's jump in. I was going to take a break this evening, but then I got back on and I thought, yeah, what else am I going to do? Right, so I'm guessing now we just go to the Landsmeet. Who is in here?
You know, I could get to like this. The last time I came to Denerim, I stayed at an inn so filthy the bedbugs had fleas. Your wish?
Never mind.
This is a nice change from having to sleep in the woods, isn't it? I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you?
Now's better than later.
Yes.
So we've got to go with Alistair now.
Indeed.
That's fine by me. So we can't take Alistair out the party from now on. He's not as behind with the old,
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven
How
crafts.
far did we go? Let's get to this.
Don't stare at me. I can have my father from his side.
It's not this way. Ah, it's down here. But of course. Right, Royal Palace. What's this? The warehouse, okay. Royal Palace it is, let's go. Okay. Normally you would meet Sir Corthrian here and talk to her, but obviously she's dead, so we can't do that.
I'll get on it.
My lords and ladies of the Landsmeet, Tyrn Loghain would have us give up our freedoms, our traditions, out of fear. He placed us on this path, yet we should place our destiny in his hands? Must we sacrifice everything good about our nation to save it?
A fine performance, Aemon. But no one here is taken in by it. You would attempt to put a puppet on the throne, and every soul here knows it. The better question is who will pull the strings.
Ah! Here we have the puppeteer.
Tell us, Warden. How will the Orlesians take our nation from us? Will they deign to send their troops, or simply issue their commands through this would-be prince? What do they offer you? How much is the price of Ferelden honor now?
So the voice acting in this game, you just have to take your hat off to some of the guys in this game, man. It's just it's sensational. Yeah, the Blight is the threat here, not Orlais.
There are enough refugees in Mybanor now to make that abundantly clear.
The South has fallen, Loghain. Will you let Darkspawn take the whole country for fear of Orlais?
The Blight is indeed real, Wolf. But do we need Grey Wardens to fight it? They claim that they alone can end the Blight, yet they failed spectacularly against the Darkspawn at Ostagar. And they asked to bring with them 4 legions of Chevaliers. And once we open our borders to the Chevaliers, and we really expect them to simply return from whence they came?
Chevalier is French for knight, so it's an Orlesian knight. You allowed Rendon Howe to torture and imprison innocents.
The Warden speaks truly. My son was taken under cover of night. The things done to him, some of them are beyond any healer's skill.
Howe was responsible for himself. He will answer to the Maker for any wrongs committed in this life, as must we all. But you know that. You were the one who murdered him. Whatever Howe may have done, he should have been brought before the Seneschal. There is no justice in butchering a man in his home.
Yeah, no, then why did you send a blood mage to poison our demon?
I assure you, Warden, if I were going to send someone, it would be my own soldiers. I would not trust to the discretion of an apostate.
Indeed, my brother tells a very different tale. He says you snatched a blood mage from the Chantry's justice. Coincidence?
Do not think the Chantry will overlook this, Terran Loghain. Interference in a Templar's sacred duties is an offense against the Maker.
Whatever I have done, I will answer for later. At the moment, however, I wish to know what this Warden has done with my daughter.
What have I done? I protected her from you. And I can teleport, as you can see.
You took my daughter, our queen, by force, killing her guards in the process. What arts have you employed to keep her? Does she even still live?
I believe I can speak for myself. Lords and ladies of Ferelden, hear me. My father is no longer the man you know. This man is not the hero of Riverdane. This man turned his troops aside and refused to protect your king as he fought bravely against the Darkspawn. This man seized Kaelin's throne before his body was cold and locked me away so I could not reveal his treachery. I would have already been killed, if not for this Grey Warden.
The Queen speaks the truth.
So, the Warden's influence has poisoned even your mind, Enora. I wanted to protect you from this.
My lords and ladies! Our land has been threatened before! It's been invaded and lost and won times beyond counting. We Fereldans have proven that we will never truly be conquered so long as we are united. We must not let ourselves be divided now. Stand with me, and we shall defeat even the Blight itself!
Southreach stands with the Grey Wardens.
Waking Sea stands with the Grey Warden.
Dragon's Peak supports the Warden.
The Western Hills throw their lot in with the Wardens. Maker help us.
I stand by Loghain. We've no hope of victory otherwise.
I stand with the Warden. The Blight is coming. We need the Grey Wardens.
Ha! You lose. The Landsmeet is against you, Loghain. Step down gracefully.
Traitors! Which of you stood against the Orlesian Emperor when his troops flattened your fields and raped your wives? You fought with us once, Eamon. You cared about this land once. Before you got too old and fat and content to even see what you risk. None of you deserve a say in what happens here. None of you have spilled blood for this land the way I have. How dare you judge me?
Call off your men and we'll settle this honorably then.
Then, let us end this. I suppose we both knew it would come to this. When we first met at Ostagar, I would never have thought so, but Ostagar seems like it happened in another lifetime to someone else. A man is made by the quality of his enemies. Marek told me that once. I wonder if it's more a compliment to you or me. Enough! Let the Landsmeet declare the terms of the duel.
It shall be fought according to tradition. A test of arms, in single combat until one party yields. And we, who are assembled, will abide by the outcome.
Will you face me yourself, or have you a champion?
My Babari will be my champion.
Warden, no. I'm afraid we can't leave the fate of all Ferelden up to your dog. Anyone with a leftover ham bone could buy his allegiance. Choose someone else.
That is an insult, but fine. And I'll fight.
It is you or me the men will follow. So, let us fight for it. Prepare yourself.
You're gonna need a bigger sword. Just saying.
Yes!
Boom!
Right, all right. Now. I underestimated you, Warden. I thought you were like Kalen, a child wanting to play at war. I was wrong. There's a strength in you that I have not seen anywhere since Marek died. I yield.
I accept your surrender. Now, the reason why... I've wanted to talk about this for ages. The reason why Royce is doing this, right, is because he learned from Duncan. He learned from Duncan's example, right? The Grey Wardens do anything, and revenge has got no meaning to them. They're here to stop the Blight. And as time has gone on, as the game has gone on, you know, he's spoken to Sten, he's realised duty is important, and Sten's teaching have sort of gone into his head. And he's gone, right, yeah, I will get revenge one day, but I need to do my duty first. It comes first, right? And that's even what his parents were saying, but Royce never understood that when he was younger. Right, he never understood that before he went on this adventure. Now he does. And so, he actually wants Loghain for the Grey Wardens, because it'll make them a lot stronger.
I didn't just hear you say that. You're going to let him live? After everything he's done? Kill him already!
Wait, there is another option. The Tairn is a warrior and general of renown. Let him be of use. Let him go through the joining.
Would it even work? He's not exactly loyal to us.
What does loyalty matter? We are what we are. The joining binds us to the Darkspawn. You know this. If you were to forswear your oath and flee today, you'd find yourself in the deep roads, or the Blight lands given time. You'd seek them out, or they'd seek you.
The joining itself is often fatal, is it not?
True.
If he survives, you gain a general. If not, you have your revenge. Doesn't that satisfy you?
Absolutely not! Riordan, this man abandoned our brothers and then blamed us for the deed. He hunted us down like animals. He tortured you! How can we simply forget that?
So here's the thing. And this is why, in general, I like Alistair. Don't get me wrong, right? But this is why he and Royce don't really get on so well, right? Fine, they're acquaintances, they know each other, right? But they're not like as close as Sten and Royce, or Morrigan and Royce, or even Ogren and Royce, right? Like he's not that close to Alistair because he's always got this in him. He's useless. He's a useless, petty man-child, is what he is. And what I don't like is that even if you harden Alistair's personality, he still won't get off this point of needing Loghain to die, right? He still won't get off it. We've gotten everything that we wanted. We finally are going to get the Grey Wardens to get support, and he still can't let it go. He can't see what it means to... And that's the true tragedy of Alistair. He doesn't know what it means to be a Grey Warden. He fails. He's failed, right? Royce has succeeded Because he sees the bigger picture. He's with Reardon, right? Royce is a Grey Warden, and he's like, no. I lost my... How dare Alistair say that? He lost fucking Duncan. Some guy he'd known for a year, maybe 2. Royce lost his entire family to this man's machinations. His entire family. And yet, he's like, no, I'm a Grey Warden, this is my duty, and this is what I'm going to do. Right? He's joining the Grey Wardens, and he's going to be of use. Because this is what Duncan would have done, and this is what Sten would have done. The 2 people who taught Royce a hell of a lot. Alistair has learnt nothing. And that's why I've never been his biggest fan. Because he just hasn't learnt. And he's revealed himself to be a petty, dangerous man. Right? He is. He's petty, he's dangerous, he's perfectly fine to be around, no problem. But when the shit hits the fan, you know, he will rely on his own passions and his own selfish needs for revenge. Like, how dare he be like this when Royce has lost 10 times more and is still willing to do this? Because he doesn't forswear his duty. He finally gets what his parents meant. They even say it to you at the start of the game, our family always does its duty first. And at the time, Royce didn't get it. He said, no, I've got to... Remember, he was like, I've got to go find Fergus, make sure he's okay. Even when he got to Lothering, he was like, I need to go find Fergus, He was ready to run away from the Grey Wardens and go and find Fergus. But now he's been on this journey, against his will, a lot of the time, but now he's been on this journey, it swept him up, he's a changed man. He learned, he trained, he changed. Alistair's the same fucking idiot he was at the start of the game. Even if you take him through the game, and even if you finish all of his quest line, which we did with Goldana, even then, he's still an idiot. He shouldn't be king, because he'd be terrible at it. And he moans about it the entire game through. So he gets what he wants. He gets to stay a Grey Warden. He gets what he wants. And yet he's willing to throw it all away. Let's see what he does, shall we? When I put my foot down and go, no. Because this is what Duncan would have done. This man, Loghain, joins the Grey Wardens. Let's see what Alistair does. Riordan has a point. We should put him through the joining.
Joining the Wardens is an honor, not a punishment. Name him a Warden and you cheapen us all. I will not stand next to him as a brother. I won't!
See what I mean? Not all of us have spotless honor, you know.
Some things can't be undone or forgiven. This goes way beyond having spotless honor. We aren't talking about a minor hiccup in his past. I didn't want to be king. I still don't. But if that's what it takes to see Loghain get justice, then I'll do it. I'll take the crown.
Listen to this. Can you see how disastrous a king he'd be? Putting his own selfish desires above the needs of his country? You can't seriously support him.
Well, I don't know. I don't. You know, no. Yeah, Honora will be queen and I'll rule beside her. And again, if this feels like betrayal to you, I'm sorry, Alistair knows what the plan was. He knows Royce was going to marry her, right? This is Alistair's choice to throw everything away. He's made this choice. Okay? We're seeing this plan through to the end, and he's the one who wants to step off, so he can. Yeah, Honora will be queen and I will rule beside her.
My husband, the king consort, the general of my armies, and the hero who will save Ferelden from this blight.
You're siding with her? How could you do this to me? You, of all people.
Now here comes the pity parade. This is how weak he is. This is how weak he is. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm doing what's best for Ferelden. Unlike you, by the way.
What's wrong with you? He's repeatedly tried to kill us both, and you side with him over me?
I don't... That is not true.
Isn't it? I don't know. I'm not sure I know what's true anymore. All I know is I can't let this pass. Not and still live with myself. I guess I don't have any choice, do I? I'm leaving.
I'm afraid it's not so simple as that, Alistair.
You already got what you wanted. Your murdering father gets a place amongst the Grey Wardens. What else could you want from me?
Your life, unfortunately. So long as you live, rebellions can be raised in your name. Our land cannot endure another civil war. I must call for your execution.
It's about time. Nah. No, you owe me a boon. Let him go.
This is what you would ask? Very well. Though I think it a mistake. Alistair, you may leave on condition that you swear before this Landsmeet that you renounce all claim to the throne for yourself and all your heirs.
That's what it'll take, huh? Fine. I don't want anything to do with this place or any of you people. Ever. I swear it. Time for me to go.
Do you guys see what I mean? He's a child. He's a man-child. He's a spoilt child. He could have pled his case and then said, listen, I don't like it, but I'm a Grey Warden too, I'll do my duty. You know? And maybe he can even have an up with Loghain later on. At another time. You never know. But he throws it all away. Because he's a spoilt man-child. Just where we are. You can come back if you change your mind.
Have fun ending the Blight. Or whatever. I guess you made your decision, right? So goodbye.
And now, lords and ladies of Ferelden, there is still a Blight to defeat, and armies to gather. And I appoint this man to lead us in both. We will not allow this land be further threatened by the Archdemon. Gather your forces, and await the King Consort's command. On the morrow, we shall begin our struggle against the greatest threat Ferelden has ever faced. And we shall triumph over it, for we are Ferelden.
She's not very good at speeches, is she? She'll leave that to me, but there you go.
You are called upon to submit yourself to the Taint for the greater good. From this moment forth, you are a Grey Warden.
I understand.
So it's done. My father lives, and for good or ill, he is now a Grey Warden. Thank you for giving him the opportunity to undergo the ritual. It couldn't have been easy.
Well, it was his machination that killed my family, but it wasn't exactly him. You know what I mean? I doubt he wanted Hal to do that, to be honest with you, but knowing what he's like. He has a lot to redeem himself for.
He does indeed. You kept your end of the deal. I will keep mine. The engagement will be announced at my coronation, provided you are still interested.
Why not announce it now?
Things could change in the near future. This blight is not yet over after all.
True.
Arl Eamon has left for Redcliffe, and tells me that our armies have almost fully gathered there. I will be heading there myself. Bring your companions, and join us at Redcliffe Castle as soon as you are able. You have united for Ferelden, Warden. Now we face the Blight.
She's got a point. I could die.
Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back?
Right here, old pal.
You're still upset about Branka, aren't you?
Well, what do you think? I mean, she was my wife. I spent 2 years trying to save her while she was off boffing that tramp and feeding my cousins to the Darkspawn. And now she's dead. And there's no way to ever make things better.
Maybe finding this Felsi will help you forget.
I guess I could use a bit of the old mortar and pestle if you're digging my trench.
Yeah, Tumble will probably do you some good.
Yeah, you said it. I was starting to think of my pants as a home away from home. You want to get moving now? My throat's sore from all this relating.
Here, Corella, taste this. Tell me if it's in need of any more spice.
Agatha.
Someone keep those cats out of my cream! Oh, and now his lordship's left again. We'd barely got the house in order and he's gone.
Oh, got a free point. Nice.
We'll need white.
If one more... Your desire?
Yep. So I just wanted to make sure that was... Wait, can I speak to her about getting married?
If your desire?
We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Screw it.
And you wish to do this in front of an audience, do you? Come to think of it, I find myself no longer caring.
I think it suits the story, right? He's like, don't worry, like, I'm getting married, but it's fine. He kissed her so good, she teleported over there. Right, let's go, shall we? So yeah, I do feel sorry for Alistair, man. Like, I do. Like, I know a lot of you be saying, like, oh my god, how could you do that? But, well, you know, yeah. I get it. I do, but I also don't.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed.
Loghain's still annoyed. Loghain, seriously, put your...
Got it.
I passed your test. Fate has a twisted sense of humor, it seems. I suppose you think I'm some sort of monster. More so since I survived your ritual. You keep striking at me, and I just refuse to die decently.
May have to resort to magic next. I may have to resort to magic next. Nah, I don't think you're a monster.
You're a poor liar, you know. It's kind of you to say so all the same. We must settle things between us somehow or other, or neither of us will get any work done. So, what will it be?
We're gonna have to work together.
Is that punishment meant for me or for you? And just like that, we're allies. I can't imagine it's so simple. I don't know what concession you want from me, Warden. I expect my word will not satisfy you.
You're a Grey Warden now too, you know.
Indeed, I'd almost forgotten that. Thank you for the reminder. I think it's time we got to the point here. What do you want from me? I can't imagine that you spared my life in the Landsmeet by accident. You have some plan in mind.
giving you a chance, and I want you to take it.
Fortunate for me, then, that I've always been a man to take chances. I'm hardly blind to the irony of this situation. All of this can rightly be called my fault. Whether or not you can do better remains to be seen. But if you can make this the end, Warden, I will follow you, I swear it.
We'll find a way to end the Blight.
Andraste, help us then. We should speak no more of this at present. Time's wasting.
Oh, improves for 23. Maybe it's because I, actually, you know, was like, no, you know. Go.
What is your wish, Kadan?
And watch that guy over there.
As you wish.
I wonder if I can talk to him anymore.
Did you want something?
Why do you hate Orlais so much?
Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate?
It sounds like hate to me.
You won't believe me when I tell you this, but it doesn't matter. I never fought because I hated Orlais. This was for Merrick and for Eldon.
You started a civil war for Eldon?
I didn't want to start a war, I wanted to stop one. I failed. So I suppose my intentions don't amount to much. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do.
I wanted to ask you something else first.
Very well, then.
How well did you know King Marek?
He was my friend. If he'd wanted to conquer the Fade, I would have led the charge.
What made Marek such a great king?
There are men who inspire such devotion that everyone around would lay down their lives for him. And there are men who would come and go from this world, and no one notes it. What makes them so? Your guess is as good as mine. Marek was remarkable. That's all I can say of him.
Why didn't you acknowledge Alistair?
He nearly did. Merrick was never one to avoid his duty. And given his preference, he would have acknowledged his son no matter the circumstance. But he had more than his honor to think of. It would have ruined Rowan, after all. She'd be reduced to a concubine in the eyes of our neighbors, and put Kaelin's status as heir in question. So Merrick made the hard choice. Eamon offered to raise the boy, and that was that.
But Kaelin took a peasant's daughter as queen. That's true.
I was turned by then, and a general. You can buy respect through birth or by bloodshed, I've found. But we've been idle long enough. We should get moving.
How did you meet Marek?
I was hunting, well, poaching, to be entirely honest, when a boy my own age came stumbling out of the woods. He was so dirty, you'd have thought he'd been dug up out of the ground.
What was he running from?
The traitorous bootlickers who'd just murdered the Queen, though I didn't know it at the time. He was bloody, exhausted, and obviously being hunted. I offered to take him to my father's camp.
camp? I thought you were a farmer.
That's a story for another time, I'm afraid. I've gone on too long as it is. Very well, then.
What would you have done if you'd won?
I suppose that depends on how much of the kingdom was left by then. Once the border was secure, the army would have regrouped to push back the Darkspawn in the south.
But the border was in no danger.
It's easy to say now. When Chevaliers were massing on our doorstep, things were a little less clear. In any case, there's no use discussing this. We have much work left to do. Very well, then.
Were you really going to kill Honora?
Honora always did have a flair for the dramatic. She could have been a bard.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted her.
It took you this long to determine that? I'm surprised.
So I broke into the royal palace for nothing?
Well, I'm sure having you come to her rescue gave Honora no small amount of pleasure. But enough about Honora. We ought to get moving. Go ahead.
Do you think what was Honora like as a child?
So far as anyone could tell, she was the undisputed monarch of the whole world. She'd fall, skin her knees, and command them to stop stinging. It may have worked, too.
So I should expect to be bossed around?
If you didn't already expect that, I've no idea what to say to you. If you're expecting some particular insight into my daughter's character, I'm afraid I'm probably not the best source. I'm hardly impartial.
Well, no one alive knows her better than you.
You think so? I'm not certain of that myself. But this is not really the time or place to discuss my daughter. We have work to do. Go ahead.
Do you think Honora will make a good queen?
Honora is a good queen. She has been for 5 years now.
So you're not at all concerned about leaving her alone?
I am a bit, but she'll do well. I have to say that anyway, for if word gets back to her that I said otherwise, she'll be furious. In all seriousness, Honora is formidable. You should know that by now.
Being tough doesn't make her wise.
No one is born wise. We only get that way by enduring. Honora is strong enough to endure. She may make a few mistakes along the way, but she'll survive them. But this isn't the time to discuss such things. By all means. Of course.
Huh.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised at your success. You beat me. Perhaps you can do this after all.
You had your doubts?
It hardly matters now. I've certainly been mistaken about you before. Do you want something? I suppose I have a moment. Of course.
That's cool. Yeah, it's just cool to get to know this character who's here. He's warm with me now. Jesus. Okay.
Thank you.
Have an ale.
Enchantment? Enchantment!
Right, so I've got the Grandmaster rune, haven't I? Yeah, there we go. Making sure.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? It's not just Darkspawn in the Hordes, you know that? There are people with them. Folks who are sick with the Blight, and their minds are all twisted and mad. I heard tell of a man meeting his own brother on the field, yet when he called out to him, his brother didn't even recognize him and just attacked. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is. I'm sure you'll be pleased.
He still says things way after he should have stopped talking. King Marek's shield. You might like that. Let's see.
I'm surprised. Thank you.
There we go.
You want something? I suppose I have a moment.
Never mind.
Of course.
Alright. So me and Loghain have had a heart-to-heart and things seem to be alright. Weirdly, he's kind of getting on with him more than he did with Alistair, but there we go. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and we'll be doing the final battle of Dragon Age Origins. It's going to be emotional. We'll see you then.